Cool. Yeah. So hi guys. This is Chris from DoraHacks. Welcome to another BNB Revelation Hackathon project demo session. I'm gonna be the host for today's events. So a little bit background intro. So this is actually the first hackathon that the BNB done their rebrand. So it's a 600K prize pool hackathon plus 10 million seed funding opportunities. And also BNB have invited lots of famous and big institutions and projects leads to the hackathon as sponsors and judges. As you can see, we have Julia, who is from GSR, to join us. Julia is also the judge for Revelation Hackathon. Yeah. So without further ado, let's introduce the projects today. They are Galaxy Chat, BetaMars, Map Table, and MetaBio. We have these 4 projects are all potentially could be the finalist for the BNB Revelation Hackathon. Yeah, so good luck with it, and don't be too nervous. Just remember that you have 10 to 12 minutes maximum, and so try to explain the most important parts for the project. Yeah, so let's welcome the first project to start today, which is the BetaMars team.
Oh, hi guys. Hi.
Hey, Jeff.
Let me share my screen super quick. Yes. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm so happy to share our project, BetaMars, to you. And I would like to start with why we start this project in the first place. So we've been studying a lot of crypto games out there for several years now. And we believe that this is a very personal opinion that tokenomics is the key of the crypto game. And arguably, we think Axie Infinity is one of the most successful crypto games out there since last year. And it actually make play to earn a thing for all crypto games. But after several studies, we find out that their tokenomics might not be very sustainable because their in-game token, SLP, has a limited supply, and it doesn't have enough consumption usage. So if it went down into a death spiral, the tokenomics is not sustainable at all. So the whole game is very vulnerable because of that. After this research, we decided that our game should be very reliable on tokenomics. That's why we designed the whole BetaMars 1.0 version based on the tokenomics we have, and we make it into a gameplay. So how do we do that? Basically, we incorporate the idea from game theory, the cooperation and the competition. So we make players to choose sides, either lords and miners. I will go into detail about that later. I just gave you a brief summary of it right now. And we see BetaMars as a big metaverse, gonna have huge potential in the future. That's why we have already been developing the 2.0 version of the game already. And this is the summary of what our 1.0 game will look like. Before you do anything in a game, you need to choose from 2 roles. We have lords and miners. So we, like I mentioned before, we have a game theory thing inside. So between the lords, you can compete with each other by trying to push up your land revenue and not to fall into the bottom 1% of the leaderboard, because your land will get eliminated because of that. And if you are a miner and you think, oh, my revenue from the landlord, they are like giving me too little. So we have this mechanism called a Great Revolution to help you to overthrow the power of the lords, which I will also go into detail later. And we believe that for our game, the players are supposed to spend half time, half in game and half in the communities, maybe in the BetaMars Discord or in-game chat channel. Why? Because because of cooperation, we might encourage them to talk among themselves to strategize to maximize their revenue, like even though like either they're lords or miners. And these two tokens are our main token. These are the two tokens in our game. Elon Punk is the main token. It has 10 billion supply in total, and we'll put 55% of the Elon Punks into the game reserve. And Revel is the in-game token of our project. And like I mentioned before, what's different about our game is that we design Revel, even though it's unlimited supply, but we make tons of consumption cases for Revel so that the Revels will be balanced compared to it's just unlimited and like flushing in the market. Basically, I won't go into too detail in this, but basically the lords can only get the supply of Revel from buying from the miners. So, and the miners will get the Revel from their work in the game. And why the lord need Revel? Because they need to do these certain things in the game. So it's kind of like a very strong consumption model we have. So make sure the whole tokenomics is balanced. And let me go into detail what the game will look like. If you choose the Lord route, you will need something called a land NFT. You need that to unlock your Lord identity. And the basic thing you do in game daily is something called land mining. But you need someone to work for you, right? So you need to hire miners to work for you. And you need Revel to determine your solidity of your land, because that's correlate to the EP revenue we'll get at the end of it. And you can set something called exploitation value to share the EP revenue. So basically you can set like 70%, I get 70, you get 30. So that's how the lords plays. And the lords got another stream of income. It's called a daily tax dividends, which is come from a tax pool. This is another mechanics we have for the lords. And we move on to the miners. If you choose the miner route, you need something called a ticket NFT, which is way cheaper than the land. So that's how we differentiate our users. So if you choose this, you will need something called a mining license to be able to mine on the land. And you get one free mining license every day. But if you need more, you need to buy with our main token EP. So basically we set the job gig around 2 hours each. So if you want to work more, you can buy more. And like I said before, if you're unhappy with the settlement, like the 70% and 30%, you can stake your Revel in our rich pool to trigger a thing called a grid revolution. So what's a grid revolution? Say you're minus, right? You're unhappy with it. You want to stake your Revel into something called a rich pool. That's a separate pool we have. And this rich pool has the goal as a staking goal. For example, it's like several million or several billion of Revel. That the quantity is calculated by a very complicated mathematical equation behind it. And we just want to make sure that the user won't spend too much time on the game or too less time on the game until the great revolution has happened. And once the goal is reached, we'll start the hash collision within the game. And if we reach the same value of the hash, and we will trigger the great revolution. If it fails, we will go into this cycle, which is we'll raise the tax rates by 1% each hour the hash collision fails. And that's belong to the tax pool mechanics as well. And this will keep happening until we reach the great revolution. And that's basically the end of the whole season. And everyone just stop producing. Everyone stop producing. And at that timestamp, the miners will calculate their contribution in the rich pool and will separate their shares of the tax pool, which is designed for the lords. But since great revolution happens, the miner get the share. I get the full share of the tax pool. And like I said before, we are a metaverse project, so we definitely plan more for our game. So for BetaMars 2.0, we add more gameplay, such as SLG and RPG gameplay. And for Lord, we have something called a prosperity value. So it is calculated by how many different construction is happening on your land, like hospitals, schools, police stations. And definitely you need specific people to work for that kind of like thing, right? So you need to hire skilled miners is here and put them into your land and make your lands more lively, and that will bring you more revenue for the land. And as a miner, now you have more names. You're not just the miner anymore. You got more professions such as school doctors, machineries, and teachers. And you need to upgrade your skills by going into such as PvE Dungeon Slayers game or PvP Battle Royale kind of game to level up. And you need to compete with among yourself to get to the top and get hired on the line. But since we're BetaMars, right, we need to keep the competition part always in our game. So we have Rise 2.0. I would also think about like other way of Great Revolution down the road. Besides all the gameplay, we also upgrade our map. We have a 3D spherical map for 2.0. So it's basically you can just travel from one point, go around the globe, and return back to the point. So this requires a very sophisticated engine, and we're very confident about that. And yeah, the map will be twice the size of GTA 5. Yeah, that's the goal. And then we have more NFT, in-game NFT for you to trade, to wear, to use. So there's a lot. That's a lot of planning for the project. And this is another feature we add to make sure our game is very sustainable. We put our NFT sale, like from the land, from the tickets, and put it into a Uniswap V2 Olympus protocol. And we use that to increase our liquidity of the treasury and to make sure we have a very healthy checkbook. And this BTC mining thing is another stream of the revenue. And I would like to highlight here on our roadmap. Well, our plan is like this June, we're gonna start our NFT trading on the marketplace, and our 1.0 game is gonna be officially online. And hopefully by the end of this year, our 2.0 will be online as well. And next year, we're gonna start more things, more project, more related features on the road, such as a DAO or other stuff. And those are the investors that have already on board with us, and we hope more people can join us along this journey. And now I would like to share with you our gameplay. So this is the interface of our gameplay. This is just still under development, so it's not on any official website yet. So basically, this is, if you choose the load route, this is what your game gonna look like. And you have all this data showing what's your decision right now, like what's your, how many lands you own, what's your average exploration value, and how many lands you own, and what's your backpack. This is the NFT thing we set for the future gameplay. And like I mentioned before, we have the riot, the rich pool function, and the tax pool function. And the rich pool, this is what I talk about, the number. We need to reach this to trigger a revolution. And you can also log out and change your wallet address to experience the minor gameplay. And this is just the lore gameplay. Minor gameplay will look a little bit different, and it will basically consist of how you do that, how you mine, how you work every day. Yeah, so that's it for me. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Great, yeah, Jacqueline, thank you very much for the introduction. Julie, let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, I think this tokenomics design integrated into the system is quite interesting. And when you guys designed the tokenomics, do you think it is part of the game as well? Because I think that besides the games having like the two routes that you want to take, I feel like because of the collaboration and competition modes that is embedded within the tokenomics, do you kind of think that your tokenomics is part of the strategy within the game? Like, two games essentially. One is a tokenomic game, the other one is the mining and the game itself. So just want to pick your brain on that.
I'm sorry, I lost you for the first part there. My internet is a little bit broken.
Yeah, no worries. So do you see that your tokenomics can be part of the strategy as well? Because I understand that the game itself is actually a mining towards the two paths that people can take. But because of the two paths that they take, they actually do have a choice of the tokenomics that they can choose is the collaboration and competition model. So in that case, do you see yourself as integrated strategy tokenomics game in this case?
Let me clarify with your question. Are you asking are we what's our stand on what's our style of game, or are you asking our tokenomics will support two paths of career?
Oh, I just want to ask your opinion on if you see your tokenomic design is part of the game as well.
Yes. Like I mentioned, I think our tokenomics is like our main gameplay for the 1.0 game. So basically I know this is going to be a very heavy duty on us because we need to educate the players that how the whole thing is played, because they need to get to know what is our tokenomics to be able to really excel in our game. So it's basically the main concept of our game.
And so, yeah, that's the thing that I want to clarify. Thanks for confirming.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much, Jacqueline, for the introduction.